Hello, everybody! Woo! That was kind of like a TV announcer style. That wasn't what I was going for, but it's fine.
Everybody. Yeah.
Everybody! Like I'm on the late night show or something. Um,
This is better.
Hi.
So honestly.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live show for the beautiful ones. We are all gathered here today to talk about this book. That sounded way too formal. Anyway, I'm tired. But yes, today we're going to be talking about The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I do not have a copy. I don't know.
No, I do.
Mary,
Sorry.
if you want to.
I
do.
Pretty.
So
Am I the
beautiful.
only one who has a copy?
Oh. Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Look at that. Beautiful. Magnifique. Oh, amazing.
Wait,
okay.
Such a pretty cover.
Here we go. Oh. Here's my copy.
Yay! Me too. Perfect. That's also what I did. Yes, so we're going to be talking about this book. As always, we're going to have like a non-spoilery section, and then we're going to get into some spoilers later for those of you who haven't read it yet. If you want to join us, do not fear. We will not spoil everything for you. And yeah, but first, let me talk about my beautiful co-host. So we're joined by Mary from Mary Monk Stories over here, and also Sophia from Sophia Reads down there. So hello, how are you doing, ladies?
Good.
I'm loving this energy. Like, hi.
Very chaotic. It's fine.
No, I love it. I love it. I'm doing good. I'm excited because I feel like I say this every single live show, but it always feels like it has been ages since our previous live show. So whenever we have one, I'm like, yay, finally, we're here.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you have like fall emojis next to your name, Mary. I'm so ready for fall.
I know, same. Oh my gosh.
Yes, so me too. Happy.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's like 28 degrees today, and I'm just like, I do not want this right now. Like, give me fall.
Exactly.
It will happen. It's okay. It will come by finally.
Exactly.
Shall we talk about what we're currently reading before we dive into the non-spoilery section of the live show? Okay, Sophia, do you want to start? You said you finished a book.
I did. Yeah. So this morning I finished The It Girl by Ruth Ware. This is her most recent release. It's about a girl whose roommate gets murdered in her first semester at college. I was so on this. I gave it 3 stars. It was a little bit slow paced for me, but I did still enjoy it. And then the book that I'm going to start after The It Girl is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, which I feel like has gotten so hyped up. But yeah, I'm excited. I read the first chapter and really liked it, but this will be my first. I don't even know what genre to put this in, like horror / paranormal.
Yeah,
like it has like vampires.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that actually. I wasn't sure if that's like a thriller or a horror.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a paranormal thriller type of situation. I feel like I haven't read it because I've heard mixed reviews personally. So yeah, controversial, but yes, yeah, I think that's what it's probably. Yeah, kind of like mystery with paranormal elements, I want to say.
Probably. Yeah, it does seem good for autumn. I think it's a good fit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Interesting.
What are you currently reading, Mary?
Not a lot. I know it's a miracle, but I'm only reading one book.
What?
One book
Who
only.
are you? What happened?
Who am I? I know.
I feel like when I was there, you were reading like 5 things at once. What happened?
Listen, I finished all of them. That's why. I finished all of those books, and now I'm just focusing on what. This will not last long. I bet that tomorrow I'm going to start 2 more books, but for now, I'm only reading Les Mis by Victor Hugo. Yeah.
It's so big now.
Yeah, and obviously this is going to take me a while to finish, but right now I think I'm going to try and focus only on this one just to see if I can make some good progress on it, and then start new books maybe towards the 2nd week of September. That's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see how that goes, because I'm really liking it, but because I'm always reading like 5 books at once, it's hard to keep up with this one. So I'm going to try and give it more attention this time.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I am currently reading Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I am almost done, actually. I should probably finish it like soon. I have around like 100 pages left, and it's going by like not super fast, obviously, because of the subject matter. Like it's a little bit, it's a bit sad. But yeah, it's going, it's happening. I'm almost done with it. And after that, I think I'm going to start Babel by R.F. Kuang. Actually, I do not think I'm going to start Babel. I am going to start Babel because if I don't, one of my best friends is literally going to murder me because she wants to scream about it with me, and I have been reading other things, and she's getting angry.
Good. Okay.
So I will be reading Babel.
Yeah.
But yes, very excited about that.
It's exciting. Are you enjoying Hamnet?
I am. Yeah, like I said, it's very sad. But it's very, very well written. The writing is really, really good. And it's also like it's very interesting because of my mainly like French education, I don't know much about Shakespeare. So it's kind of interesting to like read about him and like how he started, like read a bit more about his life, although this is mainly like more about his wife than him. Like he's not the narrator, his wife is. So yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember if I read it last year or the year before, all the years of running together, but I remember it was like my second favorite book of the year. I really loved it. Very sad, but the writing is so good.
I remember your video about that, Sophia, but I'm also not sure if it was last year or the year before, because who knows honestly.
Confusion on all fronts. Oh boy. Yeah, wow.
Do you ever like think back and you're like, what was my favorite book of the last like 5 years? I don't think I'd be able to remember.
Oh no.
My gosh, yeah, no, I don't remember it. Like sometimes I'm like, when did I read that book? Like I think about one in particular and I'm just like, what year was it? Like I can't.
I know, it's so weird. Like I finished reading The Lord of the Rings last year, and that's still astounding to me. I'm like, what? I finished it last year? What do you mean?
It was only last year?
Yeah, like what?
Oh my god, it feels like longer ago.
I know. I was like, wait, what? Because I was filming my favorite my favorite books of 2021, and I was like, no, that cannot be it. I didn't read this year. It was last year, right? And I was so confused. I had to go to Goodreads, obviously, to check everything.
Yeah. No, for sure. I feel like also the further we get into the year, the more you're just like, was it this year? Was it last year?
For sure.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Anyway, shall we get into the beautiful ones? With this little caveat. Okay, do we want to start with our overall rating and like how, like our initial thoughts? Oh no, synopsis first. Oh my god, what am I doing? Yes, so in case you don't know, The Beautiful Ones is basically this historical fiction kind of like romance fantasy book. It doesn't really have a lot of elements of fantasy, so let's just call it like a historical.
Yeah, it's kind of historical fiction, kind of.
But the world is fictional, so like, how do you qualify that? Anyway,
urban fantasy, historical fiction.
I'll get on my soapbox.
We're just going to keep on enumerating genres. So it is a kind of like historical fiction romance that takes place into a fictional world. Let's just put it like that. And we follow our main character. What's her name? Nina. Oh boy. Nina, who has like those kind of powers, like she can make things move with her mind, and she is starting her new season in high society, and she is not really doing the greatest because she comes from like a very small village, and she is under the protection of her cousin, who is trying to make her move into society in this very like fancy town. And she meets this individual called Hector, who is also able to move things with his mind, and he kind of made this his whole career. He's kind of like a magician, and they have this connection immediately because he is like her and she's never met anyone like her before. But then slowly it is revealed that Hector and her cousin actually had a thing when they were younger, but then her cousin ended up marrying someone else, so they have a history, and there's a lot of drama, and her cousin is very controlling, and yeah, lots of things happen. But it's basically this romance between these two individuals who understand each other in this crowd of thousand, and yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's a good synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Do we do we have any trigger warnings for this one? I feel like it.
Oh, I don't remember actually.
I don't think so.
I mean,
Gun violence, kind of.
Yeah, goodbye.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Okay, this is not a funny subject.
I mean,
It's not a funny subject, but if
It's
you
not-
read the book, you understand.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
there's mention of that at least. Let's
Yeah.
say that. Like
Yeah. Mention of
there's
that.
mention. I feel like I would say emotional abuse as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Mentions of bullying.
Mhm. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, pretty
I
sure
would say
that.
overall it's a pretty light novel. Like there's not
Yeah.
really anything too bad in it, I would say,
Mhm.
but yeah, just
Yeah, like,
mentions of those
there's
things.
drama, but it's not like super intense.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Okay. So, should we go around and say how many, like, what's our star rating out of 5?
Yeah.
And our main thoughts. Maybe do you want to start?
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I don't remember some details of the plot because I did read this book like 2 weeks ago, which it's also a miracle for me, but I did. So I'm sorry if I forget a few things. But what I can say, just spoiler free, is that I really enjoyed the beginning. Like I was loving it completely. And then halfway through, it kind of lost me because of a few things that I will talk about later. I still liked it. I gave it 3 stars. I think it's 3.5 actually. Because I really like all the elements, like all the drama. It reminded me sometimes of Pride and Prejudice, which I think is where they were going. But they kind of fell flat in the end for me on that as well. But anyway, I liked that inspiration. I kind of liked the chemistry between the characters and also what was going on between Nina and her cousin. That tension was very good as well. It was just, yeah, I feel like it was just where the story went in the end, and also the lack of fantasy, like you were saying, Sarah. I was expecting a lot more from it because the synopsis, and this is why I don't like synopsis, but it talks a lot about that telekinesis. I think that's how I call it, like the ability to move objects and everything, and how we were supposed to focus a lot on that and how that would be revealing to the story. But I didn't find it that captivating because there wasn't much of that. And I missed that. So yeah, I would say between a 3 and a 3.5. I still liked it. Maybe I was expecting for a different story, I guess, but it was still enjoyable. And I think the writing was very good. So yeah.
Okay.
I gave it a 3 stars. I felt like, so it was one of those audiobooks where I was like engaged from start to finish. Sometimes when I'm listening to an audiobook, I like zone out for a part and I have to rewind. But for this one, I was really invested in it. But having said that, there were parts that really frustrated me. Like I would find myself like yelling in my car as I was listening to the book. I was like, oh my gosh, why would you do that? Why are you?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's lots of frustrating miscommunication tropes in here.
Yep.
And I also agree with you, Mary, that I feel like it wasn't like, it didn't lean into the like fictional like telekinesis parts as much as I was expecting. Like to me, it really felt like Pride and Prejudice meets Bridgerton in like with a little bit of vague like fantasy elements. And it just felt like, I think that balance just was a little off for me. But I did enjoy it. I haven't read anything else by this author. I thought that the writing was really good. There's just the plot and some of the decisions the characters made me a little crazy.
Yeah. Completely understandable.
Yeah, no. Did you have anything else or?
No, I think that was it.
Okay.
I'll get into a lot of mine in the non-spoiler parts because I feel like I I don't want to. It's so easy to spoil this one, I think.
Oh, no, I get it. Yeah, I gave it like 3 stars, but honestly, for me, it's probably more of like a 2.5. I really was not that invested in the characters or the plot. And at some point, like you said, Sophia, like some of the things that the characters were doing, I was just like, what are you doing? Like, why are we going through this right now? Like, oh my gosh. And I find like whenever I pick up the Moreno Garcia book, I'm always like, I feel like there's always something missing. Like she never goes as far as I would love her to go. And I feel like often we really stay like on the surface. And I felt that again with this book. And I was just like, okay, like, like there was drama, but it wasn't drama that made me care more about the characters. It was just like, okay, like here we go again. Like it was just, yeah, I couldn't really be bothered, to be honest. I didn't really care about the characters or the story. And yeah, the writing was good, but other than that, also because I was listening to the audiobook, I don't know if I like paid as much attention to the writing as I usually do. So it kind of lost me a little bit. And yeah, at the end, I was like fully ready for it to be over. And I was just like, okay, like, can we end this now, please? And yeah, I agree that like the fantasy element was completely lacking. Like I feel like it would have been like such a good thing to expand on, and none of that was done. Same thing with like the society. I feel like we talked a lot, like she talked a lot about the society and everything, but I feel like it wasn't like explored enough, in my opinion. Like we often got the conflict between Nina and her cousin, but we never really got the conflict between Nina and the society that like was so, and it was such a threat in the narrative because she is so strange and peculiar. Like everybody was just like, don't do that, like you'll be rejected by society. But we saw none of those things. So yeah, it was strange. I feel like in the end, I just found it like kind of underwhelming. And I wasn't invested in the romance. I was just like, what is going on with this? So yeah, I don't know. I found like some of the characters lack development. So yeah, overall, honestly, it was just kind of disappointing. And yeah.
It's so sad. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I like what you said about it. It feels like she never goes as far as she could. I felt the exact same thing about Mexican Gothic. It started out so well. I feel like she's amazing at the building and the setup. That's why I love the beginning. And you were talking now like how society was a threat for Nina. And at the start, I felt that so much because we did have a couple of scenes like that where Nina was kind of showing what she could do. And people were just shocked and completely against that. And I thought, oh, this is going to be an interesting conflict. And how will she deal with that now that she will have, some classes with that? But then it seems like she forgot about all of that. And it was never discussed anymore. It's so strange. And I felt the exact same thing with Mexican Gothic. So I'm not sure if it is like an author thing. Maybe she still needs more practice in developing her endings, which is possible because I feel like she's kind of a newish author, right?
No, that's the thing. Everybody thinks that Mexican Gothic was her first book, but she has like 17 novels.
Oh.
17 novels? Oh my God.
Around that number. I remember I remember her tweeting about it. She has like a lot of novels.
Wow.
But she only got like really popular, I think, with what's it called? The other
Gods
one,
of Jade and Shadow.
Yeah, Gods of Jade and Shadows. I feel like this one got very popular, and then Mexican Gothic got even more popular. But yeah, she has a long backlist from what I can remember. Let me just look it up. But yes, I agree with you that like the beginning is always like you're always like, oh, this is this could be fun, and then as it goes on, you're just like, okay, like I'm not sure. Like,
where is that? Like it's like she forgets about a few elements of the story, and I'm like, wait, where were we going with this? Where is it? I want to know more. So yeah, it is a little underwhelming because of that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, she's Canadian. Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Well, now I'm even sadder than I don't really like her book. Oh no. But yeah, The Beautiful Ones was published in 2017. I think it was republished last year though, because I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, I think it was too, because a lot of people were saying it was a new release. And I mean, 2017 is still new, of course, but like even more recent than that. Maybe that's why. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, she has a lot of books. Anyway.
I think
but yeah,
original cover that was not very pretty.
Yeah, that's the one my library has.
Oh, okay.
I prefer this one so much more.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So maybe actually this one was, if this one is like an older book, maybe that's why we feel
that's what I'm feeling. Maybe because I honestly think she's a great author. I think she has great ideas. She just doesn't really land the ending as I hope, I guess. But yeah.
I feel like it's also more like telling rather than showing her writing, which works for some people, but for me it was just like, okay, like can you just like give me more, because I wasn't I just wasn't getting invested, so weird.
I also felt like in this book the fantasy element was like contained to like two characters and two characters only, and I was like, no one else has this ability, like what do other people think of this? Or like it just seemed very narrow in its focus, and it made it hard for me to like believe that this was a full fictional world when it was just like given to them.
I mean, there was like a continent where there were like armadillos as big as ponies, but other than that, did you miss that detail?
Definitely didn't get that one.
I mean, I don't know why I remember that detail, but I do remember them mentioning that.
That's amazing.
But yeah, no, I totally agree. Like honestly, the entire thing could have just been taking place in France, and I would just have been like, okay, like
sure,
there we go. Like the world building was non-existent.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that so much if the characters had been more developed. Like, I don't know about you, but one of my favorite, I guess you could say trope, it's the mentor trope, when there's like a person, and it can be any type of relationship. It can be a family mentor. It can be like a romantic interest who's also a mentor. I love that. So when I realized that that's where the book was going, I was like very excited, especially because of everything, obviously, that was surrounding that. I was so interested. So I was like, okay, maybe we don't get a lot of world building, which I would also appreciate. But if the characters are interesting, if their dynamic is engaging, then I'm fine with it. But then unfortunately, that wasn't really the case.
Yeah, I feel like we got like 2 lessons and that's it.
Yeah. And they were some of my favorite scenes. I was like,
it was strange.
Yeah.
It was a weirdly balanced book, but
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else you want to say before we get into the spoilers?
I don't think so.
I love how you both went like.
I feel like we always want to jump into the spoilers.
I know. I'm like,
let's go.
Okay, well, let's dive in then. Sophia, do you want to talk about the parts that made you want to scream?
Okay, I hated Hector so much. I found him unbearable. I was like, how could you forgive somebody for having a fakely courting you so that they could get with your cousin?
I hate that so much. I hate that.
It made me crazy. I was like, why is she not more angry about this? I feel like she just forgave him so easily because he bought her some Beatles and it was dumb.
I know.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, I agree. I was just like, honestly, from the beginning, I was just like, okay, dude, it was like, what, like 10 years ago at some point, like, I'm sorry, but get over it. Like, I understand that he was like heartbroken by the girl, but it was giving me like man who was disappointed and will not stop pursuing you vibes. And I was just like,
also, she's like a terrible person.
Yeah, she's awful.
Someone better.
She's awful. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that trope just gives me like nails on a chalkboard vibes. Like I cannot deal with it because it's the entitlement. It's the entitlement to your time and your affection, and like just get over yourself. Please, you are a grown man. You can like get over it. So yeah, that was really frustrating me as well. It was just like, can you just move on? And then yeah, the whole scheme of like getting closer to Nina so he could get closer to Valerie, who was, as you mentioned, a terrible person. Oh my god. She was so annoying. I remember like every single time I would get into one of her chapters, I was just like, I was rolling my eyes listening to the audiobook. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, can you be more annoying? Like, I just,
oh my gosh, when she was like, when they broke up the fight and she was like, no, give me the pistol, I want to fight, and I was like, get away from, like, this is the dumb, like, don't do this.
I was like, can she just die? Like, can there be like a bolt of lightning just coming down, just striking her, please? Can we get rid of her?
You know what I thought was going to happen at some point? Because this could also have been like kind of a commentary on toxic relationship or toxic masculinity, at least. So I thought at some point, like Hector was pursuing Valerie, and yes, she was awful at the start, but I was hoping maybe she would realize Hector's intentions and help Nina, and they would both kind of like go against Hector.
Yeah,
no. Like, ooh, that would have been so much better. Or like something that made more sense could have happened.
Yeah. I know. She was so bitter, and like I understood like the whole spiel of like, oh, like I did what society wanted me to do, so Nina has to do the same thing, and like she needs to suffer. It was giving me those like, you know, those people who are just like, I suffered and I worked hard and my life was hard, so your life has to be hard too, and you also have to suffer for what you want. And I was just like, oh my gosh,
those people exist.
Oh yeah, they absolutely exist. They're everywhere. But I was just like, oh my, like there was nothing else to her character. It was
exactly.
That was her entire character, full stop. And I was just like, okay, but like she's not compelling. She was just annoying.
This book gave me Jane Austen vibes, but like the difference with Jane Austen's bad characters is they're still like mean characters. They're still like interesting and like have motivation and have more depth to them, I feel like.
Yeah, and they're funny, and she makes fun of them like constantly, which I think makes them more bearable.
Yeah, I think for me, like I don't mind reading about bad people or toxic people. I don't mind that as long as you make me believe that they are indeed toxic and not just one character trait walking around everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a person.
It felt like a Disney like fairy tale. It's like you are the villain, and she's like this charming person that she loves insects and like, you know.
She's not like other girls, and like she's special, you know. So obviously because she's special and non-conventional, the other woman hates her because that's all that we know how to do, apparently. Like, I don't know. It was so frustrating, and like, I feel like I know that it's like the comparison that comes to mind, but I feel like comparing this to Jane Austen is a crime. I know that so many people compare it to Jane Austen, but that is a crime. Jane Austen would never.
I get the comparison. I guess it's because of the themes and everything around it, but it's definitely not well executed. No.
It's because it has those like Regency era vibes.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of get it. But
and like those random, like, what was his name? Luke Le something.
Oh,
Livy. Livy. I feel like he was very like Jane Austen-y. He's just like thrown in there to like mix stuff up and like ruin everything.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, and what character development he went through. I mean, from like golden, cutie little boy to like vengeful, crazy guy who wants to go on a duel at dawn. Like, I was just like, what is going on?
What? I'm sorry. Someone explain to me where that came from. when I heard we're gonna make a duel, and I'm like, what? Make a what? Because I was also listening to the audiobook, and I was like, wait, what? Where did that come from? Why are we here? What? I swear I didn't get that. Like, did we get
Also,
any
like,
clues about
he was
It was because Valerie was like cheering him on, being like, "Oh, you need to get revenge. Like you need to."
Oh, I know, but like, what? Why a duel all of a sudden? Like,
he was like, the only way that this will be better and that I won't be scared that he's gonna follow me around for the rest of my life is if I duel. And then I'm like, you have big powers. Like, why are you worried about this?
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, why a duel? What?
Yeah.
There are easier ways. This sounds awful, but there are easier ways for you to do that. Like, why that? It seems so like out of place for this book. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe she was just like, "Oh, this is Regency era inspired. Let's throw in the classic Regency era trope of the droll. You know, just one more trope to throw in the book." I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
And I'm just really not a fan of the droll. Like every single time it happens, I'm just like, "Oh, men are so dumb." Like every single time, I'm just like, "You could have solved this with a conversation, but no, let's go shoot at one another and possibly die. That is way more reasonable." And I'm always just like,
another example of why Hector is an asshole is like they were about to go off to the duel and they were sitting in bed or whatever, and he's like, "No, there's no other way to resolve this. I have to leave you here. Just wait for me." I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
This is so stupid.
I know.
It was so stupid. And the way that the conflict got solved so fast, like she stopped the duel, she spoke to Luke for like one page, and then suddenly he was fine. He was just like, "Yes, okay, let's be friends." And I was just like,
yeah, we go from "this is the only way, I have to do this," it's so dramatic, to "oh, okay, fine, you're right." What?
No big deal.
At least go with it. If you're doing it, go with it.
Yeah, I mean, commit. Commit to the murder scheme.
I mean, do something. Make something exciting about the ending. No, just felt very flat.
Yeah, that ending was like so random.
It was random. Yeah. Like,
it was so weird.
Strange. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, just
I feel like there wasn't enough development in Hector like not being interested in Nina at all, to like Nina is the one true love of his life. I don't know. I felt like it was just so abrupt. Like he cared about her so little that he was willing to basically cheat on her with her cousin, and then all of a sudden he was like in love with her. I don't know.
Also, I don't know if it's, I mean, it probably is because we're in a modern era, but it's so weird to date someone who dated your cousin. Like, don't you think it's strange? Like, I know that literally people used to marry their cousins, but personally, like, I would not go out with a guy who dated my cousin before. Like, strange. Anyway, I just had this thought in my mind. I was just like, isn't that weird? But yeah. Anyway, that was my thought. But yes, I agree that the character development of the characters in this book was kind of like nowhere to be seen. So yeah, I agree that he went from one cousin to the other pretty fast. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah, that's true. I completely agree with that. Yeah.
I feel like they kissed in that tower, and then he was just like, "I was wrong this entire time," which is such a classic. Like, you don't have to kiss someone to realize that you're in love with them. Like, come on. Like, if you're just like, "Oh, I'm suddenly very attracted to this person," only after having kissed them, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Doesn't seem very genuine to me, but anyway.
None of that seemed genuine, honestly. I can't remember if it was you or Sophia who said it, but I wasn't even invested in the romance either.
No.
Because of that, like, it all seemed way too fast and out of nowhere, pretty much. Because we had this revenge story at the start, and then suddenly he was deeply in love with her. They didn't even have a lot of conversations. They didn't bond over anything. Like, why? And then what you said, they kissed and suddenly they're in love. That's just that doesn't feel right to me. So
yeah, it's weird. Also, when he kissed Valerie in the library, I was just like, I mean, I've seen this coming since the beginning, but also, like, what a rookie mistake. Like, come on. If you're going to, if you're going to try to pretend to seduce her cousin, don't mess it up by just randomly kissing her in the middle of a public room. Like, please.
When Valerie took the letter, I like gasped, and then I like turned my audiobook off because I was so annoyed. I'm like, oh no, there's gonna be some miscommunication trope. She's gonna like somebody else, or something's gonna happen with this letter. But thankfully,
and you were right.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was kind of predictable, to be honest. So
I don't mind that. Like, some books are predictable, and that's just how it is. I feel like the more stories you know, the more, like, the easier it gets to predict stories. I feel like I don't mind that necessarily, but I don't know. I feel like with this one, it lacked focus. It wasn't sure exactly what type of story it was going to tell. Was it a revenge story with a romance in between? Was it a more serious novel? Was it dramatic? Was it funny? What was it? And it feels like it tried to combine all of those elements, and it just didn't really work. So I guess that's how I felt. Yeah, I didn't mind it being predictable. It was just the way it got so ridiculous. But it's like she changed her mind while she was writing the book. Like, let's go this way. No, let's go this way after all, because that's better. And I don't know if it's the editing. Maybe it did need some editing. I don't know. Like, something there was very all over the place for me at some point.
Yeah, I feel like it needed like something to guide the story more, because we have like and so because of that, I feel like it should have been longer so that the characters would have been more developed and she would have been able to like go where I wanted her to go instead of just staying like in surface. But yeah, it was just really not for me.
Yeah.
I feel like it gave me like historical fiction romance vibes without being fun. Because like historical fiction romance, like a lot of the time, like books like Bringing Down the Duke, or even like the Bridgerton series, for instance, it's ridiculous and over the top, and the characters are messy, but it's funny. Like it doesn't take itself seriously. Like it's
it
just
knows what it is.
Over the top, but like in a funny way, and like the writing is funny too. And I feel like that one, was like missing that kind of like funny element that would have made it like entertaining enough. So yeah, it's a strange feeling, honestly, because
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's underwhelming. I feel like that's the right word, especially for me, because I was really liking the beginning of the book. I was like, oh, all this setup, this is all speaking to me. These are all the right ingredients, and then suddenly, it's like, where are we going with this? What's
happening? I feel like the setup was very promising, and then the execution was lacking.
The beginning like really intrigued me, because I like he like at the especially like the first scene, like he was at this ball, he was like waiting to meet somebody, but he met someone else. We're like, who are these people? What happened? Like that really pulled me in. And then we found out this whole plot of like him, like his past relationship with her, and I'm like, okay, what happened there? And I was interested in that. And I think somewhere when it switched from being Valerie and Hector to Nina and Hector, I was just like lost interest.
Yeah, exactly. Shame.
Yeah.
Would you, if hypothetically this author made another book like in this verse, but like with different characters, would you still read it?
Oh, I'm not sure. That's a hard question.
I don't know which characters she would focus on, though.
That's true. I feel like the side characters didn't really have a whole lot to go.
No, they were very flat. Like, even if they were like brand new characters, I don't think so. Just because I think at this point I've given her a fair shot. Like, I've read 3 books by her and I'm not convinced. So I don't think that I'm going to read more of her books, sadly.
Did you read Mexican Gothic, Sarah?
Yeah, I did.
Did you like it?
I think I like that one the most. It was still like a 3 stars, like middle of the road book for me. But I felt like the atmosphere at times was like really, really good. Where like Gods of Jade and Shadows was kind of similar to The Beautiful Ones. Like I just didn't really like connect to the story or the characters, and like I didn't really care about the plot. So yeah.
Well, kind of disappointment. I feel like this is the worst feeling to have, I guess, like disappointment. I feel like it's the worst.
Yeah, because it's like so middle of the road. Like I feel like a lot of people will love this, but also I feel like because I've read like a lot of, historical fiction romance and like kind of fantasy tales that are similar, like I'm just like, whatever. It's like very lackluster.
I know.
But I don't know.
If they were to make a movie out of this concept, but just made a different direction in the ending, I feel like I would watch that. Because there's a lot going on here that I really did like. It was just underdeveloped. So if they could bring that to life, I feel like I would watch that movie. It could be.
Yeah, there were a lot of elements that were like interesting.
It's
just like the way that they were brought together that didn't really work.
Yeah,
also, I don't understand why everything was French. Like, I don't. At first, I was just like, "Wait, is Lozai like
Sarah? You don't know French?
Yeah. Oh, okay, French is fantasy now. Okay, I thought it was Great Britain. Wasn't it Great Britain? I thought that was the land of
yeah,
fantasy.
I think so. Apparently, I don't know.
No, but yeah, I was just like, at first I was just like, wait, is Lozai like a real place? And then I looked it up and I was just like, no, okay, it's not. And then I was just like, but why is it French? Like, it was very confusing to me. I was just like, what's going on? Like, is it supposed to be kind of like a Versailles, Lozai?
I think so. I think that's what they were trying to do. Yeah, I think so. Like high society. Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Also, did you that one part? She's like, let me go to the chemist after, like, to get my medication so that I don't have a baby. I'm like, that wouldn't have been available in Regency era. Like,
oh yeah, you would know that for sure.
That's true.
She was like going to get the morning after pill. I was like, what the heck? That was not.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
It's the fantasy world building, Sophia.
I know. Anything can happen.
Everything is possible.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.
That's why it like threw me off. Like, it didn't fit. Like, it was trying to be in one time period, but then there would be like random things that like didn't fit in that time period. So I couldn't get a sense of like what was normal in this society and like where, like, what, I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like also it wasn't like glaring enough. Like, those elements weren't like, there weren't enough of those elements for it to, because like, for instance, steampunk, like that's the whole point. It's like old aesthetic, but like with elements of like, electricity and all of that. So I mean, but yeah, there weren't enough elements for it to become steampunk. So you're just like, wait, what's going on? Like,
yeah.
I
don't know. It was still fun though. Like, I felt like sometimes when I listen to an audiobook, I'm like, oh my God, let it be over. But like, at least I was invested in this one. Even if there were parts that frustrated me, I was still like listening through and invested.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, I really wanted it to be over. Also, my script, I don't know if that happens to you. I don't know if it's just me, but script sometimes like it will keep on playing, but there's no sound. Like, it just keeps on running for like a full on 10 seconds, but there's absolutely no sound. So I kept on missing like parts of it. And at first I was just like, oh my gosh, like going back and then re-listening, going back and like trying to make it work. But then at some point I just gave up. I was just like, you know what? I don't really care if I miss 20 seconds of whatever they're saying. Like, I don't fine. Who cares? Like, so yeah, it was a frustrating reading experience. But that's also script's fault.
Well, I'm sorry that happened. Yeah.
I don't know why it does that. It does that like all the time. That's why I never use script, because every time I'm just like, I am paying for this and it is not working. Anyway, that was my script rant.
I feel like I actually liked the audiobook like narrator. I thought that was well done. It might have just been I was listening to this other audiobook at the same time that was driving me up the wall. So like compared to that one, It was better.
Compared to that one, it was good.
Well, it was one of these books that had like people like chatting online, and it was like Heather said blah 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 blah. Then Emily said blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh,
Oh no.
forever, like really
Oh
repetitive.
my god.
Yeah, those are bad. Oh boy.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Some books don't.
No, I
lend-
like the audiobook. I agree with you. I think it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like standard audiobook. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I liked her voice. It was like calming. I don't know. I liked her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like we haven't talked enough about how crazy Valerie is. Because what an insane woman.
I mean, yes, but again, that's her only personality
Yeah.
trait. So it's like
No.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
no,
yes,
for
she
sure.
was insane for sure. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I love that scene at the end where she like takes her ring off. She's like, "I'm gonna go find a rich man." Like, okay, Valerie.
Okay.
Go for
ahead.
it.
Do your thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, she was crazy. But I also feel like ridiculously crazy. Like, I mean, there are people that are mean in that way, but I don't know if it was that balanced or that fleshed out.
Yeah, I feel like we were almost supposed to like feel bad for her because of the way that like society had treated her. And I was just like, yeah, but all women were treated the same in that time period, and none of them like not all of them turned like completely batshit crazy. So like why like you're just sorry, you're just annoying. Like I don't know. It was a weird she was a weird character.
What did you think of her husband? Or did you think anything of him? I don't know.
I mean, he seemed like an all right husband to me. I mean, he didn't love her, but he kept on buying her everything she wanted. Like, and obviously she was a material girl, so like.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, I don't know.
She
I
just
mean,
like went with the flow. She was like so over him though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know.
She really was.
He was just kind of there, right? He didn't
Yeah.
say much or do much. He was just there, the rich guy to provide her things, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was pretty much like his character. I don't think there was nothing else the story needed from him.
I mean, I could say the same about all the characters, though. It's so strange. They all had one trait, and that was it.
Yeah, like, one purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I guess he was fine. Like he was just standing there, being rich.
Yeah, exactly. He was standing there,
as one does in those times.
Oh my god, so sad. Seriously. Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna end with her just like ditching everybody and like going off and being a performer like Hector, but like being better than Hector.
Yes, that would have been.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like a girl power story. Instead, she like got selected by this crappy guy. I'm really not a Hector fan.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah. I mean, he was like fine, but also his whole entire thing of him just never getting over that one girl he had like one summer with. I was just like, this is strange. Like,
also, like, do we think Valerie could have like behaved herself and been nice for a full summer? I feel like she was just so mean. Otherwise, I mean, maybe she's more bitter now, but
no, for sure. But I think he kept on mentioning that like she was never nice. Like she was just kind of like a, I don't know, like a very bossy person or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. Which I mean is like it's fine. Like you don't have to be nice. You can be a girl boss if you want, but also like don't the way that she acted afterwards. I was just like, okay, you're just annoying. Like please shut up.
Do you still rate it at 3.5 stars, or have we swayed you?
I don't.
I feel like it's still 3-star for me.
No, yeah, maybe just maybe 3 stars and that's it.
I feel like I'm gonna.
No, I think it's between like a 2.5 and a 3 for sure. Like I would still give it a 3 because it's like you said, Sophia. It was kind of fun to listen to. Like it's just okay. I don't have anything particularly bad to say about it. It was just very underwhelming. So I don't know, between a 2.5 and a 3, I would say. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna bring my rating down to a 2.
Ooh, shots fired.
I mean, the more we talk about it, the more I'm just like, wait, I really did not really enjoy this book.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't either, but the thing is, after a while, after I understood where the story would go, I was like, oh, so that's what I can expect from it. All right. And I lowered my expectations. I was like, oh, okay, this will just be, fine, I
Yeah.
guess. But yeah, it's definitely between a 2 and a 3. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, should we talk about the book that we're going to be reading next for the book club?
Oh my God.
I have it over there. Hold on.
You do? I was going to ask. Oh my God.
I do. I have my copy.
I am so excited for it.
Oh my gosh. It's so big.
Look at it. I know. So beautiful.
So the book that we're going to be reading is Babel by R.F. Kwong. Is it surprising? I do not think so, because literally everybody is reading this book. But yes.
Yeah.
And it's so pretty. And yes, it is a chunker. So thankfully we have 2 months, everybody. I'm probably just going to try to devour it in the next week so my friend doesn't murder me.
Wow. You're going to read it right away? Oh my gosh. Okay. That's
exciting. The second I finish Hamnet, I'm reading this. Otherwise, I'm going to get kidnapped, Mary. Like, you don't understand. I have to perform this. But yeah, it's such a pretty book. Oh, it's such a pretty book.
It is stunning. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, it has 4.56 stars.
Wow.
Babel?
Yeah, it's being really hyped now.
Yeah, it's really, really hyped up. I really, really hope I love it. Because if I don't, I'm going to be so sad.
And it's going to be my first book by her. So I'm kind of nervous because I don't know her style. And it's such a big book.
Apparently, this one is a bit dense at the beginning. That's what my friend told me. Like, you have to, commit. And then it gets, like, crazy. Like, it gets wild. And then you're just like, what is going on? You just can't put it down.
I don't mind dense books. I like that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Also, can we appreciate the full title? Because it is called Babel, or The Necessity of Violence, an Arcane History of the Oxford Translators' Revolution. And I just love this. Like, this brings me back to my master's. This sounds like a PhD thesis, and I'm just like, yes, please.
For me.
Sounds amazing. I'm so excited. Yeah. There's a map. Oh, sorry.
Oh, there should be a map. Oh my God.
It's the city of Oxford.
What is this book about?
Okay. So basically, it's about, from what I know, because I haven't read it, but it's about this guy. I think he's an orphan, and he gets into this very special program at Oxford. Obviously, it's not real Oxford. It's is it in the Victorian era, like something along those lines in the past? And he gets into this special program that focuses on languages and translation. And he slowly realizes that this program is actually used by the government to further, like, improve the efforts of colonization that they're making. So it's like how translation is used as colonial violence. And it sounds so interesting. It sounds so good. And I think the magic system has to do with, like, translation as well, and, like, words and all of that. So yeah, it sounds amazing. So it's kind of like dark academia fantasy. And
I'm so excited. I know. I'm very excited. And the title itself, it's genius, because it's like about language and translation.
Yeah.
And no one knows if it's Babel or Babel, and that just makes me laugh. Because it's like the title itself. No one knows how to say it.
I keep on pronouncing it Babel because of the Mumford and Sons song, because they pronounce it Babel. So I'm just like, it must be Babel.
I say Babel, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
We need to like watch an interview with R.F. Kwong and see how she pronounces it, and I feel like then we will know. But yeah, I pronounce it Babel because of Mumford and Sons. So I don't know if I'm right.
I don't know either. It's okay anyway.
This is what Google says. Hold on. No.
Babel.
was Babel.
Yay!
I have
Wow.
been wronged by Marcus Mumford. Oh my gosh.
It's just Google. Who
Oh
knows?
my god, Babel.
Who
Yeah, because
knows?
of
Who
the books
knows?
of Babel. Isn't that like a story as
Yeah,
well? I feel like
that is definitely the inspiration for the name.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I feel like
the tower. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Well,
the
there you go.
tower.
Now we know that tower.
Oh, so it's Babel. Well,
Yes.
I've been pronouncing it wrong this entire time.
It's okay,
Anyway,
don't worry.
it's fine. Wouldn't be the first time. But yes, we're going to be reading Babel, and the live show will be happening probably towards the end of
October.
no October.
Yeah, it's September and October.
Yeah,
right?
October,
Am I
because
wrong?
we're in
Okay.
September. Okay, so it is the September and October book. So the live show will be happening towards the end of October or the beginning of November. So if you want to join us, feel free. And yeah, I'm so excited to read this one because I
Me
feel like
too.
this one is going to be a win. I feel like this one is
hope
going to
so.
be good.
I hope so. That sounds amazing. I'm really
Yeah.
excited. Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, R.F. Kuang rarely disappoints. I feel like she receives
I don't know. That's the
nothing
thing
but
because
praise.
I've never read anything by her. I don't know how, but I haven't.
I mean, the Puppy War was amazing. It left me in tatters, but it was really good. So yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
Yes. So very, very excited about this.
Yes.
Yay.
Me too.
Woohoo! All right, so I think that is it for this live show. So I feel like we rambled a lot, but that's okay. We always do.
Oh, as always. Yeah.
Yes, and those were our thoughts for the beautiful ones. And as we said, if you want to join us for Babel, feel free. And we will see you in the next one.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and also Hillary might be joining us.
Yay!
Her triumphant return.
He is
So we
reading
shall
it.
see.
He is reading it. Right
Yeah,
now, I
she
think.
is reading
Yeah.
it. So she might be joining us for the live show, which is very exciting. We do miss her. So we'll see if she can make it, and we will keep you all posted for when the live show is going to take place. And until then, we'll see you soon.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.